Hey there, fams. How's everybody doing tonight? Thanks for stopping by. It's me, Bro Chacho, again, doing another video, explaining a little bit more the reason why I've entered this World Wide Interwebs. Hope everybody's having a good night. Thanks for stopping by, checking me out. If you have the time, please like, share, subscribe. Love all your comments. Can't do this on my own. But the reason kind of why I'm here is because everybody seems to be a little bit confused these days. The world's gotten to a crazy place, and I feel like it's my duty to use my voice and a little bit of technology I have to enter this crazy rat race to put my 2 cents in. Hope you're not afraid to have open conversations, because that's half the reason why I'm here. We've entered a world where people don't want to talk anymore, suppress speech. You can't get to solutions if you don't have conversations. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to have conversations. Anybody I think that has friends and family have probably learned that before. Sometimes in the worst scenarios, holidays, things like that. But it's kind of why I'm here, Come have some difficult conversations. You never get to any answers if you don't ask any questions, And even genius will ask questions, You don't get to a conclusion without asking some questions. Some people may say there's no such thing as a stupid question. I have examples that may go against that, but the point of it is you have to be willing to ask some questions, right? That's kind of what I'm here for. Not here to say that I'm here to kick any deep knowledge or pass anything on to you that you probably don't already know. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe you teach me a few things. I hope so. I'm not the kind of guy that can't be proven wrong. I don't mind to be proven wrong. Please, learn me. Maybe I'll learn you a little bit. But besides that, let me not get off topic here and tell you a little bit more of the reason why I'm here, because I think a lot of people are turning to hear other forms of input media, just getting opinions of people, because we've gotten to a crazy world where we are in the midst of a pandemic. Other events have transpired that have got people even more scared, out there doing crazy things in many different ways. And I don't care what side of the fence you're on. I don't care what Republican, Democrat, whether if you're an independent, a libertarian. I don't care if you're what color you are, what race, what religion, what sexuality you want to identify with. I don't care what fence you hide behind. It's fine. We all hide behind our fences. That's cool. Can't we at least talk over the fence? It's my question. But I'm here because plan to use my voice to speak out against whatever I see is not really right, and we can't get real answers. Everybody's bought and paid for. We're seeing corporate sponsored everything, corporations dealing to what is and should be a grassroots movement get hijacked by political entities. What we need the world rid of is more politics, not just creating more problems than they're solving, And through all this, nobody's really talking about solutions. Everybody seems to have their own short-term, temporary solution to problems that are way bigger than some simple solution. So, gotta have some difficult conversations to get to some real, truthful meaning and answers. Because through all this, the one thing that I think is lost is, with the death of Mr. Floyd, there is a time that I think more people could come together than be torn apart, because I don't think anybody on this planet with a soul or a conscience will tell you that what they saw was not what it is, just cold-blooded murder. Doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, you better bring it and talk to it, because everybody agrees what we saw was wrong. And I will always refer to him as Mr. Floyd, because I didn't know the man personally. Out of respect, I grew up in the South. You're Mr., Mrs., ma'am, no ma'am. That's how I am. Don't like it, that's just how it is. Can't help you. But on that night, we all witnessed something just pure evil. It is out there in the world. You can't run from it. You can't deny it. I hope people don't have to see things like that again. I wish Especially children didn't have to know that there's evil in the world out there. But there is. We have to face the realities there are. And it's kind of your average guy, like I've said in my other video. Hope you wouldn't mind checking it out. Maybe leaving a like, share, subscribe, comments. I greatly appreciate. I can't do this without any help. We got to do this together as Americans first, world hopefully second. And everything starts with baby steps. Dropping the bucket's just a drop in the bucket, but so many drops fills that bucket. So many buckets will fill a pool, lakes, rivers, oceans. It's got to start somewhere. So let me not get off track here, but like in my previous little intro video I made the other day, I hope you might check it out. I'm just kind of your average guy, your average American, trying to do my part, work hard, play harder. In my spare time, I like to have an adult beverage from time to time, relax. My spare time to keep my sanity, I like to do a little crafting, arts, whatever you want to call it, a whole bunch of different things. I like to just make things with my hands. I'm good with my hands. I like to do it. It's relaxing for me. It's fun. You never know what comes out. Sometimes you may like it. Sometimes you may not. It's kind of the fun in it, It's a little experiment, artistic at the same time. It's what I enjoy. Helps me keep my sanity. And on the night we're speaking of, in the midst of a pandemic, watching something atrocious happen in our country, I felt like making something patriotic. You might see it right here, Trust me, it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. And the night of making it, I really didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. I'm pretty sure I was just going to throw it in the trash and start over. Because, I wanted to make something symbolizing my patriotism. It had to be perfect. It had to be everything I thought it wanted to be in my head. And it was a crazy night. Hard to go to sleep for a lot of different reasons. I'm sure like a lot of you all were going through kind of the same thing. But the next morning when I woke up and went to look at it and dry and check it out, knew I didn't like it, It's like, okay, paint over it, start over again. But when I looked at it the next morning, I looked at it in a totally different way than I had when I went to sleep. And yeah, as you may see, it's not perfect, and it's all kind of scrambled up and a little runny in places. It's not at all what I set out to make, but when I sat back and looked at it, it hit me a little differently. And from something that I didn't like at all initially, it was honestly become one of my favorites, just because the meaning I read, and it's not perfect, and especially right now, it is a little bit scrambled. Things have bled over ways I didn't really want it. Kind of explains a lot what's going on these days. But within all that, you can clearly make out what it is. And even though those colors may be scrambled, they may be a little bit mixed, they may be a little bit off the way things are supposed to be, they're still the same colors that I love. And that I think a lot of people care about. You can still make out what it is. And it kind of came to represent the world we live in. And like I said, it's kind of hit me in a different way that I wouldn't have really expected. And it's kind of turned into one of my favorites, actually, because you can scramble those colors just like you can try to scramble our minds and pit us against each other. Get everybody in their little corners for your own political games or gains or whatever you want to call it. But you can't change those colors. You can rearrange them in any different way if you really wanted, but those colors still have the same meaning. This shape even still has the same meaning I set out to create in the first place. But for me, it really speaks to me a little bit more. And even though at first I didn't like it, planned on painting it over, I can't now. I look at it almost every day. And I won't necessarily say that it brings me joy, but it brings me hope to know that it may not be exactly what I set out for. May not be the perfect patriotic portrait that I set out to make in the first place. But it actually speaks to me more now than it did if it would have turned out the way I had it in my head. And that's pretty much what art is, isn't it? It's, how you interpret it. So, just thought I'd share it with you. Kind of a few creative thoughts, any feedback you may have. What do you see when you look at this? Because even though it's scrambled, and it may be a little messed up right now, it still has the same meaning to me. And I know we've gotten to a world that, for a lot of people, it doesn't have a lot of meaning. And then I'll probably have to do a whole video on why this means so much to me. Why this means so much to plenty of other people. And it may not be perfect. And it may be scrambled and not what I set out for. But it's still beautiful. And it speaks to me in a lot louder voice than I set out for it to. And in the world we live in right now, everything's scrambled, messed up. People are scared. People are taking what should have been a time for us all to come together, truly accomplish things, get to some real answers by asking some hard questions that could still scramble these lines, just like you see in front of you. But at the end of it, we could still put it back together to see the flag that I set out to create in the first place. And to see something that should be so organic and true and pure to be hijacked by political powers is as much of an atrocity as what happened to Mr. Floyd. The whole message is being lost in a hijacked movement by political powers. And now that we're starting to see some of these political powers aren't here to stand for any of these colors. They want to see these colors more blurred and torn down to create nothing like this. And I think for that reason, there's a lot of people looking for logic in a sea of insanity these days. You can't get truth from the media or comedy anymore, or music or movies, or, it's all getting flushed down because it's all one-sided. Most people see that. There's a lot of people that are waking up to it now because of a lot of these crazy things going on in our world right now. It's a real shit sandwich piling up to just spill over. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm here to bring my voice to the table. And I hope you and encourage you to do the same. I hope you might like, share, subscribe, give me some comments. Let me know what you see when you think here. How does this art hit you? How does my channel hit you? Are you willing to have some tough conversations? Because not everybody is. People are trying to erase that right now. And even these political powers that are trying to hijack some real grassroots movements that we should be talking about are starting to show their true colors, because this isn't even about these political powers. You're wanting to bring in globalism and socialism. I mean, you just call it what it is. We all know what it is. It's communism. We're seeing it now more than ever, but most people don't know what really any of those words mean. And that's the real scary part. People are forgetting history, and if you forget your history, you're doomed to repeat it. Go look at a little bit of history and find out why we cannot do that, why we will not do that. And a lot of people that love these colors, scrambled or not, will not stand for that. And I just don't want to get to the point where it boils over. Not good for any of us. It's always harder to take one step forward than two steps back. But come with me. Let's take that hard step forward. Let's have some conversations. Let's open some debates to where even if I say something you might not agree with, You won't shun me down with your words of hate that can be used in the same sense of people want to call racism or bigotry or phobias or all the isms everybody wants to use. Because, if that's all you're going to come here to shout, I'll be all the isms. I'll be racist. I'll be homophobic. I'll be all those things. I'll be the bad guy. Call me all those things all you want. Okay, now that you got that off your chest, can we have some conversation? Get to some answers? Because I know none of that's true. I know in my heart I don't need to prove it to anybody. Sorry, I don't have to prove it to you or anybody. Anybody who knows me knows that that's not the case. And the day that I meet my maker, or whatever we want to call him, I'll die in peace knowing that. All through and through in my heart. Hope you'll get the courage to follow me down this adventure. Tell me a little bit what you think about here, what I set out to do, because you gotta ask some tough questions to get some real answers. And I think that's what we need now more than ever. Not shutting down speech, not putting up political powers to bring some communist rule on our country that millions of people have died around this world for. Not even counting the colors on this flag. Millions of people have laid down their life for. And we can't dishonor them by sitting back and being quiet. So I brought my voice in the way that I thought I can. Encourage you to do the same, even if it's the smallest thing as liking this video, maybe writing a comment in below. Maybe, hell, we can have a live stream together. I would love that. I'd love to bring a lot of people together as much as I possibly can. That's what I set out to do here more than ever. So I invite you to join my family, even if you don't want to consider me fans. It's fine by me. We're all in this together. You might as well look at us like a family. So please let me know what you think. Give me any topics you might want to cover. Brochacho out.